Hello students, welcome to this section of our tutorials on the SAT. We're almost at the end of our journey for our theoretical section, and today we are going to work on the rhetorical synthesis. So to start with, let's understand what does these two words mean. What is rhetorical and what is synthesis? So the word rhetorical by the English dictionary means that it's a speech or writing intended to seem important or influence people. Well, very simple. Rhetorical means a part of speech or a writing which is intended to influence people. So we will have a lot of rhetorics in the question that SAT would pose. And what about synthesis? Though the dictionary typically says that it's a chemical word or it's related to the to the chemical reaction, but then it basically means to synthesize or to add, right? So the question in general, rhetorical synthesis, is that it is going to pose us or give us a lot of information that we are expected to synthesize or add up to find out results. So typically there will be a series of information given which is to be summed up, right, to get results. So in the due course of this, we are going to find out how it actually works. What's on the test? Like most of the questions on the SAT, other than the words in context and the standard English conventions, you're likely to find 2 or 3 questions, actually not even 3, probably just 2 questions on the SAT from this section of rhetorical synthesis. So the question would have these kinds of parts, right? The first part that you find on the question will be called the scenario. So the scenario looks something like this. While preparing a presentation, a student has gathered the following information. Then there will be the information on the rhetoric, right? This will be the rhetoric. This is the rhetoric, right? And there are 5 points out here given for the rhetoric. As you can see, these are the 5 points given for the rhetoric. The next part of the question will be our problem statement or the actual question. So what does the student want to achieve? The student wants to emphasize and the innovative nature of the shared by 2 of Earl's projects, right? So this is the problem statement or what the student wants to achieve, right? And then we have to understand and say that what is the exact way of achieving the goal for the student, right? So we will have to find out the goal, and the goal of the student is to emphasize the innovative nature of 2 Early's projects, right? So the goal should emphasize the innovative nature of 2 projects, right? Okay, and then there will be the answer choices or the options A, B, C, and D, right? So this is how the question goes. This is every question on the rhetorical synthesis will look like this. The answer to this one, by the way, is B. How did we arrive to that B? We will come to it in the section that follows. So now clear about what would be the nature or what would be the kind of question that you will face. You will have 4 parts. One, the scenario, the related facts, the problem statement or the question for us, right? And the options, as we have just seen. How to solve rhetorical synthesis questions? Well, they might look very intimidating because of the sheer length of these questions, but they are not really intimidating. They are one of the easiest type of questions that you can face on the digital SAT. So how to solve them? The first approach, or approach 1, is the most straightforward and would work for about 90 to 95% of the cases on the SAT. Only 5%, maybe 10 to 5% cases, you will actually need to use approach 2. So let's first of all understand what are the 2 approaches that we are taking. The first approach says that use the question and the options. So what does that mean? What that means is that we are asking you to use only the question, that is this one, the problem statement in this one, and the options, right? So we want you to eliminate the whole scenario and the related facts. That is what we are asking you to do in approach 1. This works with about 95% of the cases. Only the very tough questions on the SAT probably ask you to go back, right, to the related facts or the scenario. Scenario is obviously a constant, but then they might ask you to go back to the related facts. So we will take a look at these kinds of examples in the section that follows. So this is what approach 1 looks like. Read the question, analyze the goal, read the answer choices, reconcile with the related facts if necessary, right? Okay, this is what the answer choice approach 1 looks like. And what about approach 2? Only in 5 to 10% of the cases you will have to use the related facts to find out the option choices, right? So we will see why and how. So step 1, read the question, and step 2, analyze the goal. So step 1, read the question. The student wants to emphasize the innovative nature shared by 2 of Earl's projects, right? Okay, student wants to emphasize what? The innovative nature. So we will have to analyze the question. That one of the goals is to actually find out the innovative nature of the projects and shared by 2 Earl's projects. So we are looking at 2 projects of this gentleman or maybe a female for her projects, right? Okay, so the answer choice should have innovative nature and 2 of Earl's projects, right? This is what the idea is. And then let's analyze the goal. So what is the goal? Is the goal to compare and contrast 2 projects? I'm definitely sure no, that we don't want to compare and contrast 2 projects. We just want to find out the innovative nature of the 2 projects. Highlight the innovative aspects of 2 projects. Yes, this is what we are looking at. Or summarize Dr. Earl's career. No, this is not what we are looking at. So in all probabilities, what we are looking at is to highlight the innovative aspects of the 2 projects for this kind of question. We are not talking about the premises. We have just forgotten about the premises or the circumstances under which this is done, right? And then let's read through the answer choices. Which one accomplishes the goal? So the goal is very simple. Goal is highlight the innovative aspects of 2 projects. We don't have the notes as of now, but even without the notes, we are going to try to complete this one. So let's see, 1979, Jim Suit Dive set a world record, the depth record. While in 1985, Jason projects venture into online education realm. So there are 2 projects mentioned, right? There are 2 projects mentioned. That is record 1 and record 2, right? One set a depth record, while the other one ventured into online education realms, right? So probably, yeah, at that point in time in 1985, a depth record obviously is definitely innovative, probably, right? And this one is just, we will not eliminate this answer as yet, right? Okay, we'll keep this answer. Let's see what B says. Both Jim Suit Dive and Jason Project showcase Early's education. The former set a new depth record, the later revolutionized educational outreach. So I'm definitely sure this is much closer to what we are looking at. So at this point in time, we will eliminate A and we will stick to B because this is much closer. It says about innovation. We are talking about both the innovation, one setting depth record, the other one revolutionizing the educational outreach. So yeah, this looks to be at this point in time a better answer than A. So we'll eliminate A. Early's contribution to marine biology and oceanography extended globally, reflected in her numerous expeditions and hours spent underwater. This is definitely not what we are looking at, right? And Early achieved the Jim Suit and Dive project in 1979 and initiated the Jason project in 1985. I'm not convinced that this is the answer either. So probably, yeah, B is the answer that this is the most suitable answer that we are looking at. And the answer to this one probably should be a B, right? Okay. So let's take a question randomly. We are taking a question without the premises or without the notes. We are not looking at the notes. We are taking a random question as posed by SAT. These are all level 3. All the questions that we are taking out here are level 3 questions, or the difficult sort of a question that SAT College Board poses to us. And you will actually see that these difficult questions are not really as difficult as posed to us. The student wants to present the study and its findings. Which choice most effectively uses relevant information from the notes to accomplish this goal? So what is the goal? The goal is that the student wants to present the study. So present the study. He wants to present the study and its findings, right? And its findings. So our answer should have both. One, it should have some sort of a presentation. It should have presentation, right? It should have presentation, and it should also have the findings. It should also have the findings. So presentation and findings are required. Let's see. In 2021, Chinnaswamy Turan studied the pterosaur jawbones and was initially unsure if the bones belonged to juveniles or adults. Wow. Okay. This does have something to do with the study, presentation of the study, that it categorically says that they studied the pterosaur jawbones. Yeah, it does tell you that about the study, but then I'm unsure whether it has something to do with the findings. Because they were themselves unsure if the bones belong to juveniles or adults. So I'm not sure whether, I'm very sure that this is not the finding, right? Okay. Let's see the next one. Pterosaur jawbones located in Sahara Desert were the focus of the study in 2021. Agreed. So this looks like that they are talking about the study, yeah, but then again, this really doesn't have any findings. So I'm quite sure that we will be able to eliminate, because we are looking at the presentation of the study as well, and we are looking at the findings as well, right? In 2021 study, Chinnaswamy Turan used advanced microscope technique to analyze the jawbones of pterosaurs, flying reptiles that existed millions of years ago. So this says that how was the study conducted, right? Or the apparatus used. They used what? Microscope techniques, right? But again, this doesn't present about what the study was all about and what are the findings. So I'm quite sure that we will be able to eliminate this as well, though we are sure that D should be a logical answer to this, because we eliminated already A, B and C. But still, let's see what D says. In 2021 study, Chinnaswamy and Turan determined that the pterosaur jawbones located in Sahara Desert had few growth lines related to the bones of fully grown pterosaurs and thus belonged to juveniles. Wow. So it has some sort of a finding, and it does introduce the study as well, right? So I'm quite sure that this is the finding. We do have the findings out here, right? And it does introduce the study as well, right? So so now we know that this should be the correct answer based on the goals that we had said that the student had set out in order to sort of explain the study, right? So we will approach these kinds of questions this way, that we will forget about the premises, we will forget about the the first part of the story, and we will only look at the question and the options, set out the goals, analyze the goal, and then try and find out which of these options fulfill the goal. That may not be the case with some questions, as we will see in the later half of the presentation. So one more example. So for this one, as we can see that these are the research notes, these are the premises based on this is the rhetoric, right? We will completely disregard this. So basically what we are going to do is that we are going to disregard this one, right? And we are going to come directly to this one, right? Which is the goal from the question and the options that follow. The student wants to emphasize the uniqueness of Taylor's accomplishment, right? So we are looking at something unique, right? That's it. So emphasize the uniqueness. So there is only one goal out here, that the answer choice should be really unique. It should be unique. There is only one goal for this one, right? So let's see. Taylor fled to St. Simons Island, which was then occupied by the Union Army, for whom she began working. Well, she fled to some St. Simons Island, and she started working for the Union Army. Could this be very unique? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe. So we'll keep this as of now. After escaping slavery, Taylor began working for the all-black army regiment as a nurse and a teacher. Yeah, at that time, probably this could be an answer that, yeah, this could be, sort of very unique, right? Let's see if we find something which was more unique than that. The book Taylor wrote about the time she spent with the regiment is still available to readers in the print and online. I'm quite sure that this is definitely not the answer. It's got nothing to do with uniqueness, because it says the book. It really doesn't say that it's a unique book or something. So C can be eliminated. A, B will still keep it in the balance. Let's see if we can find a better answer than A or B. Taylor was the only black woman to publish a Civil War memoir. Yeah, this is definitely the most unique of the four, and I'm quite sure that the answer to this one, because she was the only black woman, right? So this is the most unique feature. This probably, I don't know, there could be many black women working out here, many black women doing the same thing, who has done the same thing, but this categorically says that she was the only black woman. So this is the most unique answer of the four, and I'm quite sure that this should be the answer to this one, right? Now approach 2. Only probably to be taken for 10% or maybe even 5% of the cases, right? Okay. When would you actually have to go back and read through these notes? When do you actually have to go back and read through these notes, right? Okay. There could be two scenarios. Okay. The first one, 2 or more options accomplish the goal. So there is a goal and 2 options accomplish the goal. Now, the idea is that the question is very, very categoric or very, very clear that, which choice uses relevant information from the notes, right? So if there are 2 choices that actually suffice the goal, we will have to find out which of these options are there on the notes and probably which of the option is not there in the notes, right? So it cannot be outside the notes, because that is what the question asks you to do. So in case there are 2 options that actually suffice the goal, right, we will have to go back and see that which of them is correct. So this is scenario number 1. And scenario number 2 is a minor thing, wherein the answer choice mentioned has only, has sort of a term which is only there in the related information. As for example, in this one, we are talking about this example, right? Okay. So the student wants to present a study on to an audience already familiar with environmental DNA. Which choice most effectively uses the relevant information from the notes to accomplish this goal? Goal is that the student wants to present a study on present the study, right? Study to an audience on environmental DNA, right? Okay. Now let's look at the answer choices. Sarah Oler McLean's research analyzed that eDNA in water samples from Florida Everglades for evidence of invasive constrictor snakes, which are difficult to observe. Okay, no problem. So this is definitely a sort of introduction to the study. Agreed, right? Okay. Yeah, probably could be. We'll keep this answer as of now. We'll not eliminate this answer as of now. The analysis of eDNA can detect the presence of invasive species. Now, the question is, what is an eDNA? Because the question doesn't have eDNA. It does say environmental DNA, but then I don't know whether environmental DNA is same as eDNA. So in such cases, we might have to go back to the notes, and C. So the DNA in these substances is known as environmental DNA or eDNA. So now we are sure that, okay, fine, environmental DNA and eDNA is one and the same, right? So these are very sporadic events wherein you might have to go back to the notes and find out. Though in this question, environmental DNA or eDNA has been mentioned thoroughly in the next answers or the options that follow, but then still, the idea behind the whole story is very simple, that if it is not mentioned anywhere, you might have to go back. So let's work this out. First one, the answer we have really not eliminated. The second one says, an analysis of eDNA can detect the presence of invasive species that are difficult to observe, such as constrictor snakes. Right? This is not really introduction or present the study. This is a part of the study probably. Yeah, so B can be eliminated. The researchers from Burmese python eDNA environmental environmental DNA, right? So now this one says defines what is eDNA. eDNA defines that this is environmental DNA in water samples. eDNA is a DNA released in this. So it basically defines eDNA. The question categorically says that the audience is familiar with environmental DNA. So we don't need to define what is eDNA, environmental DNA, what is eDNA look like, and things like that. So this is eliminated because you will not really say all these things to an audience which is already familiar to eDNA. So this is eliminated. And in this one, again, it says eDNA, that is DNA from cellular material. Again, introduction of what is eDNA. So this is also eliminated because not something that we want to do to an audience which is already familiar with environmental DNA. So we have already cancelled out B, C, and D. So probably the only answer that we are left with for this one is an A. Yeah, so this is how you need to work out such questions. Be careful whenever they will ask a lot of questions which says familiar with a certain topics. So whenever you find the definition of terms like this, right, you just eliminate that, because you don't say that to people who are already familiar to such topics, right? This one, again, for approach 2, this one is a bit more trickier because we will have to actually get to the notes, because we would not know otherwise the option choice. I mean, we will not be able to select out of 2 option choices when we come to this one. So the student wants to present a study on the findings to the audience familiar with thermal inversions. Similar thing, familiar with thermal inversions, right? So we want us to present this study's findings, right? So we are looking at findings, very clear. So let's look at it. Heat absorbing material may reside in a planet's upper atmosphere. So definitely not defining thermal inversions and things like that. And yeah, this could be one of the findings, that heat absorbing metals may reside in a planet's upper atmosphere. This could be one of the findings of the study that was conducted, some sort of study. So we will definitely look at this one as a potential option. The team studied thermal inversion in 25 gas giants, which are largely composed of helium and hydrogen. This is not a finding. So this is what the team did. So this is not a finding, right? Researchers found that gas giants featuring a thermal inversion are likely to contain heat absorbing metals which may reside in planet's upper atmosphere. This is the same thing in a little bit of detail, I'm quite sure. So yeah, this could be one of the potential answers, right? Okay. And this doesn't define thermal inversion as well, because any definition of thermal inversion will rule out that answer, because we are presenting to an audience which is already familiar with thermal inversions. So gas giants are likely to contain heat absorbing materials when they feature layer of atmosphere warmer than the layer researchers found. This phenomenon, okay, fine. So this defines what is thermal inversion. So D is ruled out. B is definitely ruled out. So we are looking at A and C. There is no way that I can find out whether A is correct or C is correct, right? Okay. So this is where we need to go back to our options. So let's look at the notes. Let's look at thermal inversion as a phenomenon. So this is not something relevant to us. In 2022, a research team studied the presence of thermal inversions in 25 gas giants. Again, this is the process, not really a finding. Gas giants are planets, so this is definition of gas giants, not really what we are looking at. The team found that the gas giants featuring a thermal inversion are also likely to contain heat absorbing material. Agreed. So yeah, this is one of the things that we are looking at. And one explanation to this relationship is that metals may reside in the planet's upper atmosphere where their heat absorbed causes. So this is the exact one that we are looking at, and this is what C basically paraphrases and reinstates. So the answer to this one should be C. So these are cases. These are the tough ones. Again, level 3 on the SAT. So this is the correct answer. C is the correct answer. But only in 10% of the cases you will find such questions where you might have to go back to the notes and try and find out if there is a confusion between two choices that we are expected to choose. So let's do some examples. We will do 5 examples quickly, and we will sum it up, I guess. So these are all tough for level 3 questions that I have again chosen from the college board, and you will really find that they are very easy to solve. So this is a scoring section. I'm quite sure that all of you should score very well in this section. So we will always take approach 1 and then probably move on to approach 2 if required. So the student wants to present the primary aim of the research study. Okay, fine. So what is the goal? To present the primary aim of the research study. So Bosley's team wanted to better understand the mechanics behind the bird's nest uniquely. Yes, this could be an aim. This definitely could be an aim, that what they wanted to do with the study. So A, we will keep it in as one of our potential options. The researchers used laboratory models and simulated flexible sticks and analyzed points. No, this is the process. This is not an aim. You can pause the video and you can try it for yourself, of course. After analyzing the points where sticks were touched, researchers found, right? So this is a finding. This is a finding. This is not the aim. This is a finding, right? As analyzed by Bosley's team, the bird's nest is uniquely flexible, and this is again a finding. So this is again a finding. So these two are findings. C and D are findings, right? So eliminated, right? And this is the process. This is the process that they use to do their experiment. So the only answer that we are looking at is an A. So this is as simple as that. You don't need to break your head on anything else. We don't really want to get into the details of this one, right? Okay, fine, great. So let's look at this one. The student wants to explain the disadvantages of relying on audio features to predict songs popularity. Okay, so explain the disadvantages of relying on audio features, right? So goal 1, to predict the song's popularity. So we want to have disadvantages and song's popularity prediction, right, somewhere. So let's see, many popularity predicting algorithms are based on songs features such as loudness, pitch, and interval. So this is what it is, right? So there's no disadvantage out here. So I'm quite sure that we will eliminate this one. You can pause the video and see if this works. Algorithms based on audio features may misidentify, yes, something like that, features of a song in various acoustic traits, making such algorithms less reliable. Okay, fine. So disadvantage is less reliable to predict the popularity of a song. I'm quite sure that we will keep B as a potential answer. Audio features describe acoustic traits such as this. Okay, so this is this is the definition of audio features. No, this is not what we are looking at. Disadvantage and popularity, songs popularity do not feature, though it does says that this some predicted to some genre, which we're not looking at the genre actually. The MSD's description tags are reliable predictors of songs popularity as traits. No, this is not what we're looking at. So probably yeah, the answer to this one is B. So you can work it out the way I am working out. This is what the workout for these problems should be, as simple as that, right? So let's look at this one. We have to be super quick on this one, these questions. Student wants to emphasize the difference between the two books. So let's see if we can find out the difference, right? Although both books are powerful works of literature that contributed to new legislation, Equinus Brook is an autobiography, well, is fictional. Yeah, one is an autobiography, one is fiction, work of fiction. Yeah, we will keep this option. They may have written about different topics, but Equino and Sinclair both influenced readers. No, this is not. This is a similarity actually. In 1807, slave trade resulted in a book, Equino, while pure food drugs resulted in a part of Sinclair. This is not what we are looking at. And the interesting narrative of Equino and Jungle are two works of literature that contribute to new legislation. So legislation is not what we are looking at. So probably the most logical answer to this one should be an A, right? So let's move to the next one, wherein the student wants to provide an explanation and an example. So there should be 1 and 2 in the answer of sonic meditation. So let's look at this. Sonic meditation is not music, but rather a series of sound-based meditation that consists of instructions. So this is the explanation, right? Okay, fine. Meditation, how much it is? 15, 18. Meditation 18, for instance, instructs the participant to listen to the sound until you no longer recognize it. Okay, fine. So this is an example. Meditation number 18 or something, right? So yeah, so this we will keep it as a potential option. In 1971, Oviros created Sonic Meditation, series of meditation that consists of instruction participants. Okay, so this does define what is Sonic Meditation, but then no example. So no. Walk so silently that the bottoms of your feet become your ears is one example of instruction. Okay, so this is an example, probably, but then it really doesn't define what sonic meditation is. So we must have both 1 and 2. While both meditations consist of instruction, meditation 18 instructs participants in written, whereas okay, so this is a comparison between sonic meditation 1 or 18, whatever, and the sonic meditation participants to walk or something, right? So yeah, this is not what we are looking at. So yeah, so the most probable answer to this one should be an A. And the last one, let's look at this one. The student wants to begin a narrative about Wong's award-nominated web series. Okay, so he wants to begin a narrative about a web series, right? Okay, so he wants to write a narrative. Okay, in 2012, director and visual effects artist Freddie Wong launched a new action comedy-based web series. Okay, Video Game High School. Okay, fine. So yeah, this could be a way of starting sort of web series introduction. And the name of the web series was Video Game High School. Yeah, this we will keep it. That yeah, this is one way of starting as to the introduction of the narrative, right, of what Freddie Wong launched as a web series. Video Game High School was celebrated for its inventive video game-centric world and high-quality special effects. It was nominated for producer. So this is all about the web series. Right, this is not the introduction to the web series. So we'll remove this. Wong, the co-creator of YouTube channel and Rocket Jump, YouTube channel Rocket Jump, would go to see his web series being nominated for Producers Guild. Okay, no, so this is not an introduction to the web series. In 2012, Video Game High School premiered in the Rocket Jump. It would rather be nominated for an award. Definitely not an introduction to the Video Game High School web series. Right? Okay, so the only option that we are left with is an E. Yeah, that's how it is. Stay tuned. We will solve more problems on every aspect. We will solve question papers now for the SAT. So stay tuned and all the best.